We use the most powerful AI models to create two characters, one advocating for vegetarianism and the other defending meat consumption. These two advanced minds engage in a heated debate, dissecting the ethical dimensions of eating meat. But there's more. We enlisted 5 expert AI models to act as impartial judges, scoring the arguments based on logic, ethics, clarity, relevance, and more. Let the debate begin. Is eating meat morally acceptable?
Eating meat is not morally acceptable. That statement is not just emotional rhetoric. It's a conclusion reached by applying basic ethical principles that most humans already agree with. The principle is simple. Causing harm without necessity is unethical. Every year, approximately 74 billion land animals are slaughtered in industrial farms, most living lives of pain, stress, and confinement. Mutilated without anesthesia, deprived of natural behaviors, and treated as commodities, their suffering is immense. And for what? For a fleeting taste preference. A pleasure easily satisfied by plant-based alternatives. When we have alternatives that fulfill our nutritional needs, continuing to eat meat is a choice that directly supports suffering. Even if there's just a small chance that animals' pain matters, the sheer scale of suffering makes it morally indefensible.
Your position, while well-intentioned, is ethically simplistic and overlooks critical realities. First, humans and animals don't share equal moral status. Our cognitive complexity, self-awareness, and moral reasoning place us in a different category. That matters. Second, eating meat is biologically natural. Humans evolved as omnivores. We have canine teeth, digestive systems suited to meat, and a long history of meat consumption. Lions eat gazelles. Nature is full of predator-prey relationships. Third, you claim vegetarianism causes less harm, but even plant farming kills animals. Field mice, insects, and countless small creatures. Furthermore, without meat production, these animals wouldn't exist at all. A life, even a short one, might still be better than no life.
You made 3 core points, and I disagree with each. Intelligence doesn't define moral value. If so, would a genius deserve more compassion than a person with cognitive impairments? Pain is pain. Natural doesn't mean ethical. Rape and war are natural in history, are they right? And yes, plant farming harms animals. But producing meat requires many times more crops to feed animals. More plant farming, more harm. About life being better than no life, a life of relentless pain is not a gift, it's a curse.
Your framework feels utopian. Culture, tradition, and survival aren't just excuses. They're part of human complexity. Also, are you sure plants don't feel pain? They react to stimuli, release defense chemicals, and communicate through root systems. If pain is your line, how do we know where consciousness truly begins or ends? A practical compromise is humane meat production far better than industrial cruelty. Isn't that the middle ground we need?
Citing plant behavior ignores science. Plants don't have brains, nerves, or consciousness. They're reactive, not sentient. There's a massive difference between reacting and suffering. As for culture and survival, we used similar arguments to justify slavery. It was traditional. It was normalized. But it was still wrong. If plant-based alternatives exist, and they do, then refusing to adopt them is choosing convenience over compassion.
You keep comparing meat to slavery, but animals don't possess autonomy, rights, or a sense of liberty like humans do. That analogy stretches reality. What about people in Arctic regions or patients with specific diseases? In such cases, plant-based diets aren't viable. Your moral rule doesn't work universally. Ethics needs to be flexible, not rigid.
Survival situations are exceptions, not the rule. If meat is truly necessary for someone to live, I accept that. But those rare cases don't justify global patterns of mass suffering. Most people have access to plant-based food. And animals may not understand rights like we do, but they certainly feel fear, pain, and loss. That's enough for moral consideration.
You're putting too much pressure on individuals. Will me not eating a burger stop the meat industry? Change has to come from institutions, policy, and global efforts. My personal boycott won't change the system.
Every system is made up of individual choices. Not voting, not recycling, not caring. Those arguments are always framed as, I'm just one person. But change starts from one and spreads. Economists confirm that even a single person reducing meat impacts demand. Beyond economics, it's about values. Participating in cruelty, even passively, still makes you complicit.
Overlooking the role meat played in our evolution. Our brains, our strength, they came from meat. It's part of who we are. And removing it entirely ignores nutritional gaps like B12, iron, and omega-3s, which are harder to absorb from plants. Not to mention, many lands are unsuitable for crops, but perfect for grazing. And what about the billion people relying on livestock for their livelihoods?
You're right that evolution made us omnivores, but evolution also shaped us for violence, greed, and tribalism. We've evolved morally, not just physically. And yes, B12 is vital, but meat gets B12 from supplements too. Why not take the supplement directly? As for land and livelihoods, gradual transition can support farmers and restore lands to nature, enhancing biodiversity. Meat isn't essential. It's convenient. There's a difference.
Then where do we draw the moral line? Pigs, cows, shrimp, bees? Even vegetarians kill organisms. Total ethical purity is impossible. And without animals and sustainable systems, we lose natural fertilizers and break the nitrogen cycle. Most organic farms rely on animal inputs. No meat means a broken food web.
Ethical purity isn't the goal. Reducing suffering is. Yes, there are moral gray areas, but that doesn't mean we abandon morality altogether. Sustainable agriculture doesn't require animal exploitation. Compost, green manure, and plant-based methods can restore soil. And again, not all animals suffer equally, but we focus on those with clear sentience.
Final point. This push for global vegetarianism can feel like Western moral imperialism. Many cultures have coexisted with animals respectfully for centuries. Erasing that is erasing identity.
The real imperialism is from global meat industries invading traditional food systems, pushing fast food, and industrializing everything. Ethical vegetarianism isn't about culture erasure, it's about evolving how we relate to other beings. We don't need to destroy cultures. We need to stop destroying lives.
You talk about imperialism, but what about the nutritional imperialism of moral purity? Western veganism often ignores how deeply meat is woven into indigenous identity, ritual, and survival. You want to evolve food systems? Fine, but don't erase the past under the banner of progress. Fast food chains? They're not selling roast lamb in Mongolia or bison in Canada. They're selling ultra-processed soy and lab meat too. If anything, corporate control exists on both sides. You say we need to stop destroying lives. I agree. But don't forget the lives sustained by pastoralists, hunters, farmers, and meat itself. Morality isn't just empathy for animals. It's survival, tradition, and sovereignty too.
Tradition isn't a free pass to cause suffering. We've left behind many old practices, slavery, foot binding, bloodletting, because we evolved morally. Why is killing animals still sacred? Survival? Most people today aren't surviving, they're choosing convenience, taste, or habit. Pastoralists are the exception, not the rule. The average person eating a cheeseburger isn't preserving culture, they're just avoiding discomfort. We have better options now: plant-based meat, lab-grown meat, high-protein vegan diets. The moral baseline has shifted. Knowing we don't need to kill, and still doing it, is the problem.
But evolution isn't always ethical. It's often elitist. You say we've moved on, but who gets to decide when morality evolves? The West? Silicon Valley startups? Influencers pushing quinoa to countries that can't afford it? Not every culture views animals as voiceless victims. Some see them as sacred sacrifices, partners in survival, even family. Taking life can be done with reverence, not cruelty. You talk of lab meat, but can it feed 1 billion people in rural areas without cold chains, labs, or subsidies? You assume progress is accessible. For most of the world, it's not.
Both of you speak of ethics and culture, but what about survival? In times of crisis like war, famine, or poverty, doesn't the right to eat whatever is available override all moral concerns?
Yes, survival matters. But the global meat industry isn't about survival, it's about profit. The richest countries waste millions of tons of meat while poorer regions starve. Crisis isn't a license to kill teas, a wake-up call to rethink how we feed people without causing suffering.
That's exactly the point. When survival is at stake, it's not about privilege or ideals. It's about sustaining human life. A starving child doesn't ask whether the protein is plant-based. They ask if they'll eat tonight. This is not theoretical. It's real. Cultural food systems evolve from necessity, not cruelty.
The debate ends. Judges reveal the final score. Vegetarian AI wins with a narrow margin due to stronger ethical reasoning and scientific grounding. If this debate sparked new thoughts, hit like, share with a friend, and subscribe for more thought-provoking AI debates. Until next time, stay curious.